The hallway lights flickered again. Cole groaned as he wheeled his cleaning cart forward. He hated working the night shift, especially in the research sector. It always felt colder here, quieter, too quiet. As he reached the sealed door, labeled Unit 7, he paused. That door wasn't on his cleaning route. He checked the list on his tablet. It clearly said Chamber 6A. He looked up again. 6A, he muttered. This is it. He swiped his access card. The door hissed open slowly. Inside the room was dark, except for a soft blue glow from the walls. The air felt thick, heavy. Cole pushed the cart inside and looked around. Then he saw it in the corner. Behind thick glass, something moved, large, heavy, breathing, slow and deep. The creature's skin looked like smooth stone. Its eyes glowed faint red. Whoa! Cole, whispered. He reached for his cum. Hey, this is Cole from maintenance. Just walked into 6A, but I think you what? A voice shouted through his earpiece. Get out now. Cole froze. The creature rose slowly to its feet, towering over him, even behind the glass. What the hell is that? Cole whispered. Do not move. That's Unit 7. You're not supposed to be in there. But the glass wall between them began to slide open. No, why is it opening? Cole backed up from the observation deck above. Alarms started flashing. Security override failed, someone yelled. It's opening on its own. The creature stepped forward, slow and calm. Cole held up his hands. Easy, I didn't mean to bother you. It didn't growl. It didn't charge. It knelt right in front of him. What is it doing? Someone asked through the comm. Cole couldn't answer. Soft, I think. I think it likes me, Cole said. Back in the control room, the commander was already shouting orders. Shut down the door. Lock the chamber. But sir, said the technician, it's not attacking, it's bonding. Bonding, the commander repeated. It thinks the human is its parent. The entire room fell silent. Hours later, Cole sat in a medical room, staring at the floor. I was just trying to mop the floor, he said quietly. I didn't know what was in there. Across from him sat Dr. Lyra, head xenobiologist of the station. You shouldn't have been able to enter, she said. The system glitched. You were sent to the wrong room. And that thing? What? Is it? She hesitated. It's not from any known planet. We found its egg drifting in deep space. Grew fast, strong, dangerous. So why keep it alive? We wanted to study it, but we couldn't get close. It attacked everyone in You. Cole rubbed his face. Why me? We don't know, Lyra said. But it's calm now, eating, obeying commands. It follows your voice, watches your movements. I'm not, its dad, maybe not, but it thinks you are. The next day, Cole was brought back to the chamber, this time with 2 guards. He stood outside the glass wall as the creature approached again. But it needs a real name now. I'm not naming it, Cole replied. The creature let out a soft rumble. I think it wants you to, Lyra said. Cole sighed. Fine. Boulder, because it's built like one. The creature let out a low sound, almost like a purr. Lyra smiled. Boulder it is. As days passed, Boulder grew more active, but only around Cole. It ignored everyone else. Sometimes it growled if someone got too close to him. Boulder, stop, Cole would say. The beast would sit immediately. The station's command didn't like it. One morning, a general arrived on the station. His uniform sharp, his face cold. So this is the human the beast obeys. He said, I'm just the janitor, Cole replied. Not anymore, the general said. You're its handler now. I didn't sign up for that. You don't have a choice. That night, Cole sat outside Boulder's cell, talking softly. You know I never asked for this, right? He said. I wanted a quiet life. War, no weapons. The beast tilted its head, watching him. But I guess you didn't ask for this either. Suddenly, alarms blared. Containment breach in lab sector. Cole stood up fast. Is that you? He asked Boulder. The creature growled not at him, but toward the hall. The door burst open. Coming with me, he snapped. Cole struggled. What are you doing? Then he heard the deep, angry snarl behind him. Boulder launched forward, shattering the glass with one charge. In seconds, the man was on the ground, unconscious. Not dead, but clearly hurt. Stand down, shouted guards rushing in. Cole ran. In front of Boulder? Boulder. No. Stop. The creature froze. It stepped back, sat down, quiet again. The general arrived moments later, face red with fury. "This is why we can't trust it." "He was trying to kidnap me," Cole shouted. "Doesn't matter. That thing's a threat. It didn't kill him. It protected me." Later, Cole stood with Dr. Lyra on the observation deck. "They're going to order Boulder to be destroyed," she said softly, "or used as a weapon." "Can't they see it? Just wants to be with me?" Cole asked. "That's exactly the problem," she said. "Because if something happens to you—" She didn't finish the sentence. Cole turned to the glass, watching Boulder sleep peacefully in its corner. "What if it's not a weapon?" Cole whispered. "What if it's family?" 2 days later, the general summoned Cole again. "Orders." "From Earth," he said. "The creature is too dangerous. It must be moved to a deep containment facility." "What happens if I say no?" "Then it goes without you, in chains." Cole felt his chest tighten. "You move it without me?" he said, "and it'll break free. That's why we're taking you to Eba." But they never got the chance. That night, Cole packed quietly, but as he walked the corridor, something felt wrong, too quiet. He turned the corner and saw the security officer lying unconscious, blood on the floor. The containment hall opened. Boulder was gone. Red lights flashed as the station went into lockdown. Cole ran to the comm panel. "This is Cole. Boulder is loose, but it's not angry. It's looking for me." He found the beast in the docking bay. It stood between Cole and the arriving security team. Cole yelled. He stepped forward. "Boulder, it's okay. I'm here." The creature turned. Its body relaxed. It let out a deep sound like relief. Cole walked to it slowly, hand raised. Said, "I promise." The general arrived, gun in hand. "You move now, or I shoot," he said. Cole didn't flinch. "You shoot me." The general hesitated. Boulder stepped between them, growling low. Dr. Lyra rushed in. "Stop. We need this bond. Don't ruin it." The general lowered his weapon slowly. "We're going to regret this," he muttered. Cole looked up at Boulder. "Maybe, or maybe, ... this is just the beginning." The creature let out a soft, almost human sigh, and somewhere deep in its massive chest, it said its first word, "Father." The station was quiet again, too quiet. Cole sat in his quarters, staring at the floor. He hadn't slept, not really. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Boulder breaking through glass, roaring in rage and then gently pressing its head against him like a scared child. A knock came at the door. He opened it to see Dr. Lyra, holding 2 mugs of steaming tea. "You look worse than yesterday," she said, stepping in. "I feel worse," Cole answered. He took the mug and sat down. "Stop talking about killing it," she said. "For now, that's something," he muttered. "They want to study the bond more." He looked up. "You mean use me to control it?" She didn't answer. Cole placed the tea on the table. "I never asked for this," he said. "One wrong. Doran, suddenly I'm the key to the most dangerous creature in the galaxy." Lyra sat down beside him. "Maybe it wasn't the wrong door." Cole frowned. "What do you mean?" "The system glitched." "Sure. But there were 5 safeguards. 5. All failed at once." "You weren't sent by mistake, Cole." He stared at her. "You think someone did this on purpose?" She nodded slowly. In the command center, the general stood with his arms crossed. 2 officers stood beside him, watching security footage from days ago. "Zoom in," the general ordered. The screen showed the moment Cole entered Unit 7's chamber. The door slid open to Isili. ID scanner turned green without scanning properly. "Tampered," one officer said. "No doubt. But why send in a janitor?" the other asked. "Why not a soldier or a scientist?" The general's face stayed cold. "Because no one expected a bond, and now that it's happened, we use it." He turned away and looked out the wide window toward the creature's containment area. Boulder sat silently watching the corridor. "Waiting for now? The human is our leash," the general said. "But leashes break." Cole entered the chamber again later that day. This time, under tight watch, Boulder stood up as soon as he walked in, tail swaying behind it slowly. "Hey, buddy," Cole said. The creature let out a deep rumble and leaned its head down. Cole placed a hand on its face, warm, solid, strangely. "Gentle, how are you feeling?" Boulder's eyes locked on his. Then, in a low, gravelly voice, it said, "Hun, ... Gry." Cole blinked. "Did you just talk?" Dr. Lyra gasped from the viewing window. "It's learning fast," she said. faster than anything we've ever seen. Cole turned to her, confused. Why didn't it speak before? Maybe it didn't need to. Maybe it didn't want to. But now it's choosing to. Boulder's voice came again. Hun, ... Gry, want, ... you. Cole raised an eyebrow. Me, eat with you, it said, slowly. Lyra smiled. It wants to eat together. Like APAC. The guards behind her looked nervous. He's teaching it too much, one muttered. No, Lyra whispered. It's teaching itself. They set up a secure room half mess hall, half observation zone. Cole sat at a table with a plate of protein cubes. Boulder sat opposite, behind a thick barrier, eating a larger, meat-based version. Boulder asked slowly. Cole nearly dropped his fork. You're talking more now, learning, watching. Cole smiled. You're doing well. Boulder tilted his head. You are. Father? Cole nodded slowly. I guess I am. Others, ... don't like me. They're scared. Should they be? Boulder asked. Cole leaned forward. Are you dangerous? The creature paused. Yes, if they hurt you. Cole looked down at his plate. That's what they're afraid of. Boulder's voice softened. Then they should not hurt you. Back in the command center, the general watched the footage silently. He's growing smarter by the hour, Lyra said. You can't treat him like a beast anymore. He's still a weapon, the general said. No, he's something else, something new. The general turned to her. That makes him even more dangerous. She stared at him. You don't want to understand him. You want to control him. He smiled coldly. Exactly. That night, Cole woke to a strange sound. His cum was buzzing. A scrambled message played. Cole, danger. They're moving it. Without you. He grabbed his uniform and ran through the halls, past security, into the lower hangar. He saw the transport ship, lights flashing, guards around it, Dot and Boulder, in chains. The creature thrashed eyes red, growling. Stop, Cole shouted. What are you doing? The general stepped out from the shadows. Orders from Earth. We're moving it to lunar base for control training. You can't take him without me. That's the point, the general said. We're ending the bond. Cole's heart sank. He'll go berserk. The general raised his hand. Shoot him if he moves. The guards aimed. Boulder roared. Cole ran between them. Boulder, stop. It's okay. The creature froze, breathing hard, chains rattling. But it didn't attack. The general lowered his hand slowly. This proves it. You're the only thing keeping him calm. Then don't separate us. The general hesitated, then gave a new order. Delay the transfer. For now. Later, Cole sat beside Boulder in the chamber. You almost lost it, he said softly. Boulder looked down. You were ... in danger. I can take care of myself, not from all of them. Cole looked at the guards watching from above. You might be right. Then Boulder leaned forward. I heard them talk. They don't want me here. Cole nodded. They're afraid. I can go. No, you belong with me. Boulder looked into his eyes. You protect me. Cole smiled. We protect each other. But far away, in another galaxy, a message was being read by an alien council. The words were simple. Project Unit 7 has bonded with a human, the alien. Leader stood, voice sharp. Begin the strike plans. The creature must not stay with Earth. Back on the station, Cole had no idea war was coming. He just knew something was changing in Boulder. The creature was learning faster, thinking more deeply, and somewhere inside, it was beginning to understand that it might be the most powerful being in the galaxy, but its heart. It belonged to a human janitor named Cole, and soon the galaxy would learn what that meant. Cole sat with Boulder inside the chamber, sipping from a coffee cup while the creature watched quietly. The bond between them was no longer a mystery. Everyone on the station had seen it with their own eyes. Boulder was more than calm. He was connected. But something was changing. Cole, Boulder said slowly. What is war? The question made Cole choke on his coffee. He set the cup down. Where did you hear that word? Boulder blinked. Guards say it, scientists whisper. They say, war is coming. Cole stood and looked toward the observation deck. The glass was blacked out. No one was watching, or at least no one visible. I don't know, Cole said carefully. Maybe they're just talking. Is war fighting? Yes, Cole said. War is when people fight, sometimes for power, sometimes for fear. Are we in danger? I don't know yet. Boulder lowered his head slightly. Then I must protect you. Cole reached out and placed his hand on the creature's warm skin. I don't need a guard. I need a friend. Boulder looked up. I can be both. Deep within the military wing of the station, the general stood with his top officer, Commander Ray. A new message flashed on the screen, encrypted. But clear, strike fleet ready, Ray read aloud. Alien faction suspects Earth has bonded with a Class Omega entity. They see it as a threat. They're not wrong, the general muttered. What do we do, sir? Deny it for now. If they move, we'll use Unit 7 as our weapon. Ray hesitated, and the human, we keep him breathing, the general said coldly, until we don't need him anymore. Cole returned to his quarters. He tried to sleep, but couldn't. The room felt colder than usual. His cum buzzed. He grabbed it. A text message blinked. They're lying to you. Meet me in Lab C in 20 minutes. Come alone. No name, no signature. Hesitated, then slipped on his jacket and left. The hallway was empty. He moved quickly, footsteps echoing. Lab C was quiet and dark. Only a small light glowed near the far corner. A figure stood in the shadows. Who are you? Cole asked. The figure stepped forward. It was a woman, short, sharp-eyed, dressed like a maintenance tech. My name's Kira. I used to work on the early stages of Project Unit 7, she said. I've never seen you. I was reassigned after the incident, she replied. After Boulder started responding to you. Why are you hiding? Because I know what they're planning. They don't want peace with that creature. They want control, I figured. That out already? No, you don't understand. They're going to clone it. Use your bond as a blueprint. Cole stepped back. Clone Boulder. They've already started. But the clones aren't like him. They're angry, out of control. One escaped last week. Killed 3 guards before it was vaporized. Cole's heart sank. And they're keeping this secret. Yes, if Boulder finds out what they're doing, we'll all be dead. Back in the chamber, Boulder was restless. He paced. His deep growl rumbled like thunder under the floor. Guards stood ready just outside the blast door. Dr. Lyra watched from the monitoring room, concern etched across her face. He senses something's wrong, she said. Should we sedate him? A tech asked. No, that might break the bond permanently. Then what? She sighed. We wait for Cole. Cole returned hours later. Boulder rushed to the glass wall, his breathing fast and heavy. You left, the creature growled. They locked me in. I'm sorry, Cole said, placing his hand on the glass. I had to find out the truth. What truth? They're making copies of you, he said, trying to use your power, but it's not working. The others? They're monsters. Boulder stared at him. They want to replace me, he asked. No, Cole said softly. They want to replace us, Boulder growled again. The ground trembled beneath them. I won't let them, the creature said. You can't just destroy them. That'll prove them right. What should I do? We show them we're more than weapons. Boulder lowered his head. I trust you. I trust, Father. Later that night, alarms blared through the station. Cole jumped from bed and ran into the hallway. Red lights flashed. Voices echoed from the comms. Security breach in Sector D. Unauthorized access to Clone Lab. Zao's blood turned cold. Ran to the observation window above the lab. Smoke poured from a shattered door. A warning siren screamed, "Dot inside." A figure moved through the shadows, large, fast, dangerous, not Boulder. A clone Dot. It burst into the hallway, tossing a guard like a ragdoll. Cole turned. Boulder. The creature was already there, emerging from its chamber, eyes glowing not red, but golden. I smell blood, Boulder said. That thing isn't like you. It's loose. I will stop it. No, Cole said. We stop it together. The cloned creature roared as it tore through. A wall, bigger than Boulder, more jagged in shape. Its skin covered in scars from forced growth. Boulder stepped forward. The clone paused, snarled. Both creatures stared at each other. Then the clone lunged. The fight shook the station. Metal cracked. Walls split. Cole ran alongside guards, shouting, "Don't fire! They'll hit Boulder." But the clone was wild. It struck like a storm, teeth and claws flashing. Boulder fought with purpose, precision. It wasn't just fighting, It was protecting. Shouted, "Use the magnetic chamber. Trap the clone." One of the guards nodded and hit the switch. Walls began to close. The clone tried to escape, but Boulder slammed it back into the chamber. Then Boulder stepped out just as the final door slammed shut. The clone was trapped, glowing, but contained. The general arrived minutes later, face pale. "What happened here?" he demanded. Cole pointed at the clone chamber. This is what you made." The general looked at the damaged walls, the wounded guards. "You think this proves something?" he said. Cole walked up to him. "It proves that Boulder is more than your experiment. He made a choice. He saved us." "He's still a risk," the general said. "So are you." Cole replied that night. Cole sat beside Boulder in the dim light of the chamber. "You could have killed it," he said. Boulder didn't speak for a moment. "It was me, but not me. I know." It had no father. Cole closed his eyes. They wanted power, but they didn't understand what you really needed. Boulder looked at him, eyes softer now. "I needed you." Cole smiled. "And I needed you to—" But outside the chamber, in the cold silence of deep space, a fleet was moving. Alien ships, hundreds, coming toward Earth's system. Because somewhere across the stars, someone had decided if Earth had bonded with a beast, then Earth had to fall. The room was dark, except for the soft blue glow from the containment tank. The creature inside floated silently, its many eyes closed. It looked peaceful until the human walked in. Jason stepped carefully into the lab, his boots making soft taps on the steel floor. His heart raced. Every time he saw the creature, it felt more familiar. Professor Rowe stood near the control panel. Her eyes were sharp, filled with tension. "You shouldn't be here, Jason," she said without turning. "After what happened yesterday, I had to come," Jason replied. "It's calling me. I feel it. Feel it." Rowe turned to face him now. "Jason, you're not its father. You're a soldier. You were never supposed to bond with it." Jason stepped closer to the tank. The creature inside stirred, its eyes opening one by one. It focused on Jason, and something strange happened. It smiled. Or it did something close to a smile. Rowe gasped. "It's mimicking you again. It only does that when you're near." Jason touched the glass. "That's not mimicry. That's recognition." Rowe slammed her hand on the console. "This is exactly why you were removed from the project. It's a bioweapon, Jason. The most dangerous living thing in this sector." "Then why does it act like a child when I'm around?" Jason turned to her. "You call it a weapon, but it follows me with its eyes like a baby looking for its parent." Rowe's voice softened, because it was programmed to learn. To adapt, maybe it chose you. Or maybe it's manipulating you. Jason didn't answer. The creature moved closer to the glass. One massive claw pressed against it. It made a sound, a low hum like a sad song. "It's trying to communicate," Jason said. "No," Rowe said. "It's trying to escape." Just then, the lights flickered. A warning alarm blared across the lab. Rowe rushed to the console. Jason tensed. "What is it?" Rowe's face turned pale. "Someone is trying to override the containment from outside the base." Jason's voice was sharp. "Who?" Rowe typed fast. "Encrypted signal. Not from Earth. This is alien code. Someone wants it back." Jason pulled out his comlink. "Commander Hale, this is Jason. We've got to breach a attempted known source. Possibly off-world." "No response," Rowe whispered. "They've jammed our signals." The creature in the tank suddenly thrashed. Lights dimmed, and cracks appeared in the reinforced glass. Jason backed away. "It's reacting to the signal." "No," Rowe said. "It's reacting to you. You're afraid, and it feels that." The glass shattered. Screams erupted from the lab's hallway as sirens howled louder. The creature stepped out slowly. It didn't roar. It didn't run. It simply walked to Jason and stood still. Rowe raised her weapon. "Jason, move away now." But Jason didn't move. The creature extended a limb gently. It didn't attack. It touched Jason's arm. And then something strange happened. Jason's skin glowed where it touched. Not with heat, but with energy. Eyes widened. "It's linking with me," Jason Rowe shouted. "Back away, I'll shoot." "No," Jason said calmly. "Don't. It's not violent." Behind them, the lab door exploded inward. Alien soldiers in dark armor stormed in silent, fast, deadly. Their weapons were aimed not at the humans, but at the creature. Protect it, Jason yelled. Jason yelled. Ro hesitated, but then fired first. Her shot struck one alien, and chaos broke loose. The creature let out a deafening cry and leaped across the lab with terrifying speed. It didn't attack Jason. It protected him. It shielded him with its body, throwing itself between him and a plasma blast. Its thick skin burned, but it didn't. Retreat. Jason ducked behind a fallen table. Why are they attacking it? Ro reloaded. They don't want it bonded to a human. They want control. The creature roared and flung one alien into the wall. Another was crushed under its claw, and then silence. The last alien dropped his weapon and raised his hands. We didn't come to destroy it. We came to stop what's beginning. Jason looked confused. What do you mean? The alien removed his helmet. His face was scarred, older than any Jason had seen. That creature isn't a weapon. It's a seed, a link. If it bonds with a human, it awakens ancient memories, powers we buried long ago. Jason narrowed his eyes. Why are you afraid of that? Because we made it to destroy gods. The alien's words hit the room like thunder. Back, this isn't just a bioweapon, is it? It's some kind of ancient tech. The alien nodded. It was supposed to obey. But now it remembers. And it remembers you, Jason. The creature crouched beside Jason now, its body scarred. From plasma fire, it didn't bleed like humans. Its wounds glowed faintly with light. Jason looked at the alien. Then why does it care about me? Because somewhere in its design, it remembers kindness. You gave it that. You spoke to it, and now it believes you are its creator. Jason stood. I'm not. I'm just a soldier. The alien stepped forward. You are more now. You are the key. Jason's heart pounded. The lab was silent again. The battle was over. But the war was just beginning, Ro whispered. Jason, what do we do now? Jason turned toward the creature. It watched him with patient, loyal eyes. He took a breath. We find out what it really is. Outside, more alarms sounded. Ships were approaching, not human ships. Jason looked at Ro. Tell command, we're no longer just observers. We're part of this now. Ro nodded, and the creature, Jason placed his hand on its shoulder. It's coming with us. The hangar doors opened slowly with a hiss. A deep rumble echoed from inside the chamber. She didn't flinch even when a massive shadow moved inside the cage. Behind her, I'm here for the boy. End of the chamber sat the beast, a 10-foot-tall creature covered in black and gray scales, with glowing eyes that flickered like stars. It had claws sharp enough to tear steel and a roar that once broke the bones of a soldier, orphaned during a rebel raid on a colony world. Somehow, he had ended up here alone in the observation bay when the creature. The beast was poked, prodded, and shocked, and then the impossible happened. The beast looked at Eli and stopped fighting. Now, the scientists couldn't go near it, but Eli could. He could sit inside the cage, play with the toy shuttle, and even fall asleep against the creature's chest. They formed a bond. Destroyed a war platoon only after it was attacked, Lena replied. It hasn't hurt Eli. Hasn't even snarled at him. Raynor looked like he had tasted something sour. You're suggesting what? That it thinks the boy is one of its own? No, Lena said quietly. It thinks he's its child. 2 hours later, alarms blared through the complex. Lena ran through the corridor with a tablet in hand. Security bots rolled past her toward Containment Sector 3. She reached the chamber. She shouted. The beast went wild, someone said. Started slamming the walls, growling. But only when we tried to take the boy for medical exams. Inside the cage, the cameras showed Zaytanine hunched over Eli, shielding him with its massive body. Its glowing eyes scanned every movement outside the glass. Its claws drummed slowly against the floor. Then something strange happened. Eli stood. Up. He pressed a hand to the creature's chest and whispered something. And the creature, this apex predator from a dead planet, went still. Completely still. The camera zoomed in. Eli was talking to it like it was a big dog. And the beast, it listened. Lena didn't blink. It understands him. The next day, against every order from the Defense Council, Eli was allowed to return inside. They placed tranquilizer guns outside the chamber. Eli crawled on its back. It made low, humming noises, softer than anything it had done before. It even gave him a broken piece of alloy, like it was a toy. "Why is it acting this way?" Raynor asked. "This thing ripped through gunships last month. Now it's cuddling." Lena shook her head. "This is not about science anymore." "Then, what?" he snapped. She turned slowly. Instinct. Somewhere deep inside its mind, something triggered when it saw Eli. Not just pity, protection, recognition. "You're saying it imprinted on him?" "No, I'm saying it chose him." That night, everything changed. A terrorist group calling themselves the Void Chain attacked the base. They bypassed security with stolen codes and fired plasma rounds through the corridors. Their goal was simple: free Zeta-9 and weaponize it. They thought it would obey. They were wrong. By the time Lena reached the chamber, she heard screams human and not. Then she saw it. Zeta-9 stood tall, covered in blood and plasma burns. But it was not attacking at random. It was protecting. Eli lay behind a shattered wall. It was tearing. Through the void chain like a storm, Lena ducked behind cover as it crushed the last terrorist against the floor with a sickening crack. Then, breathing hard, it turned around and limped back to the boy. It nudged him gently. Eli stirred. The creature let out a soft boy again, not as a weapon, not as a prisoner, but as a father. Later, as medics rushed in and soldiers cleared the scene, Raynor stood in silence beside Lena. He spoke without looking at her. "I was wrong," Lena nodded. "We both were." He glanced at the giant sitting protectively around the sleeping child. "Now, what do we do with it?" Lena's eyes stayed on the monitor. "We stop calling it it." She pointed at the screen. The metal doors hissed open. Inside the observation chamber, the creature, nearly 3 meters tall, covered in dark blue scales, stood motionless. It had not moved in hours, but its golden eyes were locked on the glass wall ahead, waiting. Watching. Lieutenant Mara stepped in first. Her boots echoed across the steel floor. "Careful," warned Dr. Kalen from behind. "It hasn't eaten today." "I know," Mara said, her voice steady. "It's waiting for him again, isn't it?" The doctor nodded. "It's becoming obsessed. Every day it ignores food, combat training, even my commands until the human shows up." Mara narrowed her eyes. "Where is Eric now?" "In his quarters, refusing to see it after what happened yesterday." Yesterday, the word tasted bitter. Eric had stepped too close to the containment door. The creature, now called Cathar by Eric himself, had slammed its massive hands against the wall, not in anger, but in something closer to fear. It didn't want Eric to leave. That moment had shaken the entire research team. A genetically engineered warbeast, grown in a lab for destruction, now looked at a human as its parent. "He'll have to face it sooner or later," Mara said, "especially with the council coming in 2 days." Kalen nodded, "And if they decide to terminate it," the words hung in the air like smoke. Heavy, Toxidon in his quarters. Eric sat on the edge of his bunk, staring at his palms. He could still feel the heat of the creature's breath when Cathar pressed its head to the glass, like a scared child. "It's not just an experiment anymore," he whispered. The door beeped. Mara entered without waiting for permission. "You're needed," she said. "I told you. I'm not going near it today." "You have to," Mara insisted. "It's breaking down. It won't respond to anyone else. Won't eat. It barely sleeps." Eric looked up. "Then maybe you should let it go." "Let it go," she snapped. "That thing could flatten a tank. If it escapes, it won't," Eric interrupted. "Not if I'm there." They stared at each other in silence. Finally, Mara stepped aside. "You have 1 hour," she said. "Then the council gets the final word." The chamber was dim when Eric returned. Cathar had curled up in the far corner, its giant arms tucked beneath its body, like a hound trying to disappear. Eric approached the glass slowly. "Hey," he whispered. "The creatures." Head lifted. Its eyes gleamed. "Cathar," Eric said softly. "I'm here." With slow, careful steps, the beast rose. It padded toward the glass. There was no growling, no snarling, only a low rumbling sound from its chest, something between a purr and a hum. Eric pressed his hand to the transparent wall. Cathar mirrored him. "I'm sorry I left," Eric said, "but you scared them. You scared me." The beast blinked. Then slowly, it sank to its knees and placed its forehead against the wall. Eric closed his eyes behind him. The control room lit up, red flashing lights. A voice screamed over the speakers. Containment? Breach in lower sectors. Repeat, unknown entity has entered the facility. Eric spun around. What's going on? He shouted. Mara's voice came through the intercom. Something just crashed into the western hangar. We think it's from the creators, the ones who made Cathar worse, she replied, the ones who lost control of its kind. They're here to destroy any trace of it. Eric's blood ran cold. They're here to kill it. Yes, Mara said, and you need to get out of there now. No, Eric whispered. He turned back to Cathar. The creature was already on its feet, pacing. It sensed the danger. Come here first, Eric said. The creature growled low. Its claws scraped the floor. Eric turned toward the panel beside the door. He knew what he had to do. Open the cage, he said into the comm. What are you, insane? Kellen's voice shouted back. If we don't let him fight, we'll all die. He's the only one who can match them. But we don't know how open it, Eric said again. I trust him. A pause, then clank the locks released a door to Cathareth's chamber slid open with a hiss. The beast stepped forward, towering over Eric. Then, slowly, it bent its head, touching its forehead too. Eric's again, gently dot. Then it roared, a terrifying sound that shook the walls. Chaos hit the base within minutes. 3 Gestalt, armored, with glowing blue weapons, stormed through the corridors. They moved without mercy, blasting doors open, vaporizing soldiers who stood in their way, but then came Kotar. The creature moved like thunder, claws tearing into the floor as it ran. Eric followed behind, panting, heart pounding. Let him through, Mara, shouted over the radio. Don't shoot the beast! Down near the core lab. The first alien met Cathar. It raised a plasma spear. Cathar leaped. They crashed through a wall. Sparks and fire filled the air. The beast moved with fury, not for blood, but for protection. It fought like something defending its pack. By the time the third attacker fell, crushed beneath a broken steel beam, the base was a wreck of smoke, alarms, and broken lights. Eric stumbled into the ruins of the west hangar. Cathar stood in the middle, panting, bleeding from one shoulder. More were coming. The scanners showed ships in orbit. The Council had seen enough. We're pulling out, Mara's voice said. But they're sending nukes. We don't have clearance to stop it. Eric stood beside Cathar, placing a hand on its leg. Then we don't leave, he said. In orbit above, the human fleet watched the countdown. Target locked, the officer announced, but Admiral Voss raised a hand. Wait! He stared at the Federic, standing beside the beast, unafraid. I want that man on the come now. The screen flickered. Eric's face appeared, covered in dust. Sir, he said. Don't fire, Voss frowned. Give me one good reason. He saved us, Eric said. Not just me, the whole base. He's not a monster. It's a weapon, Voss replied. No, Eric said. It's a child. A pause. Then, behind Eric, the great beast stepped forward. It stared into the screen. Then, to everyone's shock, it placed one clawed hand over its chest and bowed that the Admiral leaned back in silence. Abort strike, he said finally. Sir, I said abort. Later, after cleanup, after the ruins were sealed and the attackers buried, Eric sat outside the hangar with Cathar resting behind. Him, like a giant dog, Mara approached, arms crossed. You risked everything, I know. You disobeyed orders. I did. She sat beside him. So, what now? Eric smiled. Now, he said, we raise a family. Behind them, the beast let out a soft, contented growl. And somewhere in the dark galaxy, others were watching, waiting, because they had just seen something terrifying, a war beast with a heart and a human who taught it how to love. The beast didn't sleep that night. It sat beside the wall, its golden eyes watching the door. Every sound in the hallway made it tense up. Its long tail flicked, muscles twitched. The creature wasn't just alert, it was waiting. Inside the observation room, Dr. Kira watched the live feed with tight lips. It's protective, she said. It's waiting for someone to come, or someone to return. Colonel Raddick leaned against the glass with crossed arms. It's waiting. For the human, Kira nodded. Yes, the humanella had been removed after the outburst in the last session. Security feared the beast would become violent, but the truth was more complicated. Kira tapped the console and brought up another screen. While Eli's been gone, the creature hasn't eaten. Not a bite. It's growing weak. You think it's grieving? Radek asked, half scoffing. I think it's lonely, she said quietly. Or maybe betrayed. The next day, the beast lunged at a guard, who brought in food. No one was hurt, but the message was clear. It didn't want food. It wanted him. In a meeting room high above the lab, the top minds debated. We trained that thing for war, Director Niles growled. Now it thinks it has a father. That human was a janitor before this started. A janitor. What is he even doing in our most secure experiment zone? Kira answered calmly. He volunteered. The beast responded to him like no one else. You approved the contact under controlled settings, Niles snapped. Now the project's a mess. The creature won't eat. It won't respond. We're losing control. Radek leaned forward. Maybe we never had control. The room went silent. Then Dr. Kira said, let me bring Eli back in. Just for a few minutes. If the beast calms, we move forward. If not, terminate the contact forever. Niles stared. And if the beast becomes aggressive, Kira's voice was steady. Then you'll have your answer. But I believe it's smarter than we think, and more loyal than we imagined. Eli sat in his room, staring at the wall. He hadn't seen the beast in days, and each day he felt something strange, like pressure on his chest, like he was being pulled, not by guilt, by connection. He jumped when the door opened. Radek stood there. You're going back in, he said. Eli's heart skipped. It's okay, we'll see. As soon as Eli entered the containment room, he froze. The beast was crouched in the far corner, back to the door, tail twitching. It looked smaller, thinner, its black can-silver fur dull under the lights. Eli whispered, Hey, buddy. The beast didn't move. Eli walked slowly, hands out. I'm sorry I didn't come back sooner. They were scared. I was scared too. Still, the beast didn't move. But then its ears flicked, and it turned. Those golden eyes locked. On Eli's, and for the first time in days, it blinked, it stood. Then it ran, not to attack. To hug? Eli braced himself, but the beast stopped just short and dropped its massive head to Eli's chest. It let out a low rumble, deep and soft. Eli rested his hand on its head. I missed you too. Behind the glass, Kira whispered, It trusts him completely. Niles, watching from a remote feed, said nothing, but his eyes narrowed. After the reunion, the beast returned to normal behavior. It ate, it trained. It even responded to voice commands when Eli gave them, but something had changed. It wouldn't listen to anyone else. Colonel Radek tested it. He shouted orders, used its code phrases. Nothing worked. Only when Eli repeated them did the beast obey. I think we've imprinted something we don't understand, Kira said in a private meeting. It sees Eli as a parent, or something. Like it, we engineered the beast to learn fast, to find an alpha, a leader, and it chose him. Niles scowled. Then we'll use that. As long as it obeys orders through Eli, we still win, Radek warned. That's a dangerous assumption. The beast won't follow military strategy. It'll follow him. What happens when he says no? But no one had an answer. Weeks passed. Eli and the beast trained together every day. It learned fast, complex problems, weapon signals, battle formations. But still it refused to harm Eli. Even during simulations once, when the beast was ordered to fire a pulse cannon toward Eli's marked zone, it shut the cannon down, walked to the control station, and destroyed the panel with a single swipe. It wasn't just refusing, it was protecting him. Then came the test, a real-world field simulation. The beast, Eli, and a team of soldiers were dropped into a mock battlefield. Hostile drones, moving targets, noise warfare. Kira watched anxiously as the operation began. The beast moved like a shadow, fast, precise, deadly. But when a drone appeared behind Eli, something went wrong. Instead of attacking the beast through itself between Eli and the drone, it took the hit hard. The shock pulse knocked it back 20 feet. Smoke rose from its side. It whimpered loud enough for the mics to catch. Abort the mission, Kira shouted, but Eli was already running. He dropped to his knees beside the beast. Hey, you okay? The beast groaned. One eye opened. Its paw moved slowly, brushing his hand. Then it rolled upright, shaking off sparks, and let out a roar that made the drone short-circuit mid-air. The battle was over, but something else had begun. That night, Radek met Kira in the hall. "You saw that too, right?" Kira nodded. It took the hit for him. Without hesitation, would it do the same for a soldier? "No, I don't think it would," Radek said. "Then this isn't a weapon anymore. It's a guardian," Kira agreed. Or worse a thinking, feeling creature with loyalty. And from the shadows, someone else watched the conversation. Eyes cold, expression unreadable. Director Niles He walked away, pulling out his cum. "Project protocol has changed," he said. "Initiate phase black, back in the containment cell." The beast slept peacefully for the first time in weeks. Its chest rose and fell, soft and calm. Eli sat nearby, writing in a notebook. Suddenly, alarms began to ring. Doors slammed. Red lights flashed. Eli jumped to his feet. "What the?" the beast snarled, eyes snapping open. It stood between Eli and the door. Then gas poured into the room. "Not knockout gas, poison." Double quotes. "No," Eli screamed, slamming on the emergency glass. "Let us out." Behind the glass, soldiers stood watching, and Niles gave a cold order. "Terminate the link. Terminate the beast. Terminate the risk." Kira arrived too late. She stared in horror as Eli pounded the glass. As the beast growled. Ready to fight, as smoke thickened and lights dimmed, and then the glass shattered. But not from outside, from inside. The beast exploded through the barrier, shielding Eli in its arms as they crashed through the lab wall. Alarms roared. Chaos followed, and the last image caught on camera was of Eli riding the beasts back into the shadows of the underground tunnels. Gone, vanished, free, and the facility, left in ruins because the creature they created for war had chosen love, and that love was dangerous. The alarms were screaming. Red lights flashed across the containment facility. Klaxons howled as guards sprinted down the metal corridors. Inside the observation deck, Captain Leora stood frozen, staring at the live feed from Cell 27. "Where is the creature?" she asked in a cold whisper. A technician answered in a shaking voice. "Gone. It broke the walls." Nothing should have been able to, but it did. She didn't blink, and the human still inside. With it, deep in the broken cell, Mason knelt beside the huge creature. Its black eyes locked onto his, breathing slow and heavy. Smoke still hung in the air from the destroyed force field. But the beast didn't attack. It leaned closer, like a protective animal shielding its young. Mason swallowed hard. "Easy, buddy. I'm not leaving you, but we have to go." The creature codenamed Zarnik gave a low growl, but not the angry kind. It sounded almost sad. Then it moved toward the broken wall and glanced back at Mason. Mason stood up. "You want me to follow?" Zarnik nodded. At that moment, 30 armed guards surrounded the chamber entrance. Their rifles were raised. "Stand down, human," barked the lead commander. "Move away from the subject." Mason raised his hands. "If you fire, it will kill all of you. It's protecting me. Just lower your weapons." "Lieutenant Mason, step away now." Another voice came from the intercom. It was the base commander. "That is a top-level bioweapon. This isn't a pet. It's not your friend. It's an Apex-class predator." Mason looked at the massive creature. Beside him, "Then why hasn't it ripped me apart in the last 3 weeks? You made me watch it, observe it, talk to it like a father, and now you're surprised it bonded with me." Suddenly, the creature stepped in front of him and gave a sharp roar. The guards flinched. Mason touched the creature's arm. "Zarnak, they're just scared." The creature turned its head slightly, toward him, its body tense, as if ready to protect Mason with its life. Inside the command room, chaos broke out. Scientists shouted. One tried to trigger the neural collar remotely, but nothing happened. "It's fried," another yelled. The explosion in the wall must have shorted its restraint system. "They're leaving the facility." Someone shouted. On camera, Mason and Zarnak began moving together through the smoke-filled corridor. Doors slammed shut behind them, one by one security trying to trap them. But Zarnak didn't stop. He smashed through the steel gates like they were made of paper. "Send the drones," the commander growled. "Kill them both if you have to." Dua turned sharply is not the enemy. That thing is listening to him. If we act now, maybe we don't need bloodshed. Too late, the commander muttered. It's a rogue asset. We can't let it escape. Outside, the metal jungle of the off-world research facility echoed with explosions. Surveillance drones zipped across the skies. The chase had begun. Faster? Mason panted as they reached the outer perimeter. They're going to try and kill us both. Zarnak didn't need words. It understood. With a sudden leap, it grabbed Mason with one arm and climbed the outer tower wall. Its claws dug into the structure as it scaled the building like a beast from ancient myths. From above, drones fired stun rounds. Zarnak roared again, twisting its body to shield Mason. One round hit the creature's back. It winced but kept going. Mason shouted, "You're hurt!" Zarnak looked down at him with a single rumble in its chest, like it was saying, "I'll be fine." They reached the roof dot below them, the endless red sand of the alien planet ahead. Freedom, but in the sky, an attack craft hovered into view, its cannons pointed straight at them. A voice came from the ship. "Do not move. We will open fire in 3 seconds." Mason raised his arms. "Don't shoot. I repeat, do not shoot." No response. Zarnak looked at him, then at the ship. Then it moved. In a blur, it hurled Mason off the edge straight into the sand below. Mason screamed as he fell, but hit the ground in a soft crater. He wasn't injured, just breathless. He looked up in time to see the ship fire. The blast hit Zarnak. The beast vanished in a ball of light and smoke. Mason screamed, "No." He ran back toward the building, but soldiers blocked him. They pulled him down, cuffed him, and dragged him away. "You're under arrest," one soldier said. "You aided the escape of a hostile bioform." "I didn't help it escape," Mason growled. "It saved me." 2 weeks later, Mason sat in an isolated cell, surrounded by white walls. He hadn't eaten. He hadn't spoken. A woman walked in. Leora. He looked up, came to tell me he's dead. She sat across from him. "There's no body. We couldn't find anything in the wreckage, just melted armor and scorched steel." Mason's eyes narrowed, so he could still be alive. She paused, then slid something across the table. A photo. A blurry image from a satellite drone in a Tia-large figure moved across the desert alone, toward the canyons. It had Zarnak's shape, and in one of its claws was a broken collar. "He didn't just survive," Mason whispered. "He's free." Leora stood. "If anyone finds out what you did, they'll execute you." He smiled faintly. "So let them." She walked away, but before she left, she said quietly, "I think he misses you too." Later that night, Mason lay on his bunk, staring at the ceiling. Then something flickered on the wall. A red symbol .1 he recognized. It was the mark Zarnak had carved during their first session. Only this time, it was glowing dot. Mason sat up fast, somewhere in the darkness beyond the cell walls. Something was coming, something big, and it hadn't forgotten him. The command center was quiet. Too quiet. Commander Varlin stared at the live footage. The creature codenamed Project Grar was no longer inside its containment chamber. The walls had been torn apart like paper, and in the middle of that destruction, one message was burned into the steel with claws. "Find Father." "Who taught it that word?" Varlin asked, his voice low and cold. No one answered. Dr. Myra, standing behind him, whispered, "It must be copying the human. It believes he's its parent now." "You mean it's emotionally bonded?" The commander snapped. She nodded slowly. "Yes, and it's searching for him." Varlin turned to his officers. "Lock down all exits. We cannot allow the creature to leave the station. If it escapes, entire planets may fall." "But sir," one officer said, "if it's only trying to find the human, maybe we can." "No, this isn't about one man anymore. That thing isn't a pet. It's a Class 5 apex predator that destroyed a battle tank with its bare hands." Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. The intercom shouted, "Breach in Sector 7. Creature is moving toward the launch bays." Dr. Mira's heart dropped. "That's where we're keeping the human locked up." In Sector 7, Ethan sat alone in the small observation room. 2 armed guards stood outside. He had heard the alarms. He felt the floor shake earlier. He knew something was coming. Then, dash boom, the entire hallway shook. The lights went out. The guards aimed their weapons. A deep growl echoed through the steel. The next moment, The wall exploded inward. Steel flew like paper. Smoke filled the corridor. And through the fog, glowing yellow eyes appeared. "Stand down!" the guards shouted, but they didn't get the chance to fire. The beast Grar moved like lightning. It swatted the guards aside with terrifying ease, but didn't kill them. It just pushed them away. It stepped into the room. Ethan stood, frozen. The beast was bigger, now almost 2 stories tall, scales hardened like armor, claws like blades. But its face, its eyes, they were sad, Grar, Ethan whispered. The beast let out a low hum, something between a growl and a whimper. "Are you okay?" Ethan said, slowly raising his hands. "You're hurt." Blood dripped from one of Grar's shoulders. Burn marks ran across its side. He must have fought through security. Drones. Ethan took a step closer. The creature lowered its head carefully, slowly. Then it nudged Ethan like a lost animal. "You came for me," Ethan muttered. The beast rumbled again. It seemed happy, safe, but the reunion didn't last. Dozens of security drones dropped from the ceiling above. "Target locked," the robotic voice said. "Fire." "No," Ethan shouted. The first drone fired an electric net. It wrapped around Grar and shocked him hard. The creature roared in pain. The second drone launched a needle that pierced its leg, filled with tranquilizer. Ethan rushed forward. "Stop, you're hurting him." But the drones didn't care. Grar roared again and exploded in fury. He ripped the net apart, crushed one drone in his fist, and jumped, grabbing Ethan in his massive arm. Then, with a howl that shook the walls, he smashed through the launch bay doors. Back at the command center, Commander Varlin watched in disbelief. "He's taking the human," he said. "Why isn't he killing him?" Dr. Mira stared at the screen, pale, because that human is the only one he trusts. Varlin hissed, "If they reach a ship, this nightmare will spread." Grar ran through fire, metal, and chaos. He protected Ethan with his own body. The man tried to speak, to calm him, but the beast was panicked. Finally, Grar reached the launch bay control room. He smashed through the doors. His huge claws tapped the screen. It was clear he remembered what Ethan once showed him. The beast activated the hangar gate. Outside, stars sparkled. Grar stepped into a small cargo ship, clearly too small for his size. But he bent, curled, and held Ethan tightly. The door sealed, engines roared, and they were gone. An hour later, in deep space, far from the facility, the ship floated quiet. Inside, Grar rested, breathing slowly. Ethan sat beside him, hand on the beast's giant shoulder. "You didn't have to do all this," Ethan whispered. "You could have escaped alone." Grar looked at him and made a strange, low sound, almost like a word, Foth. Ethan froze. "You learned that?" the beast repeated softly. "Father." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes. "I'm not your real father. I'm just someone who showed you kindness." Grar's eyes blinked slowly. Then he rested his giant head on Ethan's lap. Back at the station, chaos reigned. Command was silent. Half the staff were too afraid to speak. Dr. Mira finally said what everyone was thinking. "It doesn't matter if we call him a monster. He made a choice, and that choice was mercy." Varlin clenched his jaw. "He won't stop running. Find him." But somewhere in deep space, the beast who was built for war now slept in peace beside a human. Not because he was trained, not because of orders, but because in his heart he truly believed he had found his father. The cage was open, the alarms were silent, and the beast was gone. Colonel Tyvek stared at the empty chamber, his claws twitching. "Where is it?" he asked, voice low. A young technician gulped. "Gone, sir. No security footage. Nothing. Just vanished." Across the hall, Commander Hera stood frozen, eyes wide. "Check the human now." They rushed to the observation room. Empty. Both the human and the beast were missing. Tyvek roared. "You let that thing imprint on a human, and now they've escaped together. That's not a mistake. That's a war crime." But the human was just a janitor. 3 days earlier, the beast-designated subject data had been calm. Strangely calm. The creature, 10 feet tall, with glowing red eyes and skin like iron, had stopped attacking the walls of its cage. It no longer snarled or paced. Instead, it sat quietly every day, watching, staring through the glass, at one man Lucas Crane, a low-level human cleaner. Not a soldier, not a scientist. Just a man with a mop. Lucas never meant to bond with it. He wasn't supposed to be in that area for more than 5 minutes. But every day, as he passed, the beast would stop and sit. One day, Lucas had whispered, "Hey, buddy, you doing okay in there?" The beast had tilted its head. "Another day, they treating you rough? I get it. Life's tough." Then came the day it mimicked him. Lucas dropped a bucket. The beast picked up a stone and dropped it too. Lucas chuckled. The beast grunted back. Now, they were both gone. Security scrambled through footage. Every hallway, every dock. Ships were scanned. Nothing. It was as if the human and the most dangerous living creature in the galaxy had disappeared into smoke. Then, a signal came, a transmission. Short, static, dash-filled, only one word. Safe. Lucas sat on a cold rock deep inside a hollow moon. Light from an alien sun flickering through cracks above, the beast de Tele beside him, eyes half closed. Lucas looked at him. "You okay?" Theta rumbled softly, a sound that once made entire armies run. Now it sounded like a sigh. "Good," Lucas said. He looked at the small transmitter he had stolen. He knew they'd be tracking him now. "They'll find us," he whispered. Eventually, Theta sat up and growled. Lucas smiled. "I know. You'll protect me like I protected you, huh?" The beast reached out a clawed hand and gently touched Lucas's shoulder. It was the same gesture Lucas had used the first time. They met when he gently wiped blood from the beast's arm after it had been beaten by guards. That small kindness had changed everything. Back at the station, the Galactic Council had assembled. Admirals, scientists, generals, ambassadors. "This is unacceptable," spat Admiral Kryn. "Now it's bonded with a human janitor. It sees him as, what, a protector." "No," said the scientist, Dr. Ilias. "It sees him as a father." Laughter broke out, then silence. "Wait, you're serious?" "The Admiral?" said Dr. Ilias nodded. The bonding patterns, the calm behavior, the mimicry, all classic signs of imprinting. In its mind, Lucas Crane isn't just an ally. He's family. Lucas stared at Theta. "Can you understand me?" he asked. Theta looked into his eyes. Then, nodded. Lucas gasped. You understand?" Theta slowly reached into the dirt. Scraped letters, Lucas's heart sank. "They hurt you." Theta nodded again, then wrote, FMIL. Lucas swallowed hard. He had seen Theta bleed, had seen the scars on his back, the screams when they shocked him. They had built Theta to be unstoppable, but treated him like a monster. Lucas was the first one to treat him like a living thing. Now he was all Theta had. The Council ordered every ship to search the nearby sectors. "Find them," Tyvek ordered. "Before the bond grows stronger, if Theta truly believes the human is its family, it will never stop protecting him." "What if we threaten the human?" someone asked. Tyvek smiled. "Then the beast will come running." Lucas and Theta moved every night across asteroids, through derelict ships. Down forgotten tunnels, Theta was quiet, but alert. Lucas talked more now, stories of Earth, of his childhood, of people who were condoned, people who weren't. Theta listened sometimes. Lucas would laugh, and Theta tried to laugh too. It sounded terrible, but Lucas appreciated the effort. They shared food, sleep, silence, and when Lucas woke up from nightmares, Theta was always standing guard. Then came the message, broadcast to the galaxy. Tyvek of the Galactic Enforcers. To the human named Lucas Crane, surrender now, or Earth will suffer. Lucas stared at the screen, frozen. "They're going after my planet," he whispered. Theta stood tall. Lucas grabbed his gear. "We have to stop them. I don't care what happens to me, but I won't let them destroy Earth." Theta growled, deep and low, then nodded. The escape was over. They turned back toward the station, toward the enemy. Lucas knew it was madness, but he had to protect the world. Theta wasn't a weapon anymore. He was a friend, maybe, even a son, and family protects family. The Council was shocked when their scanners picked up an approaching ship. A stolen scout vessel. Lucas was flying it, and Theta was with him. "They're coming back." The Admiral shouted, "Send fighters," barked Tyvek, too late. Theta had jumped from the ship. Mid-atmosphere, it landed on the roof of the council hall with a thunderous crash. Screams rang out as guards opened fire. Nothing stopped him. Not bullets, not lasers, not gas. He moved like fury itself, but not to kill, just to reach Lucas. Lucas stepped into the hall, hands raised. "I'm not here to fight." Tyvek aimed a blaster. "Then why return?" Lucas stood tall. "Because I have something you don't." He pointed at Theta, his trust. Theta stood between Lucas and the soldiers. Dr. Ilias whispered, "He's defending him with everything." Lucas nodded. "You made him to destroy." "I taught him to care," Tyvek snarled. "He's a beast. He doesn't feel." Lucas stepped forward. "He feels more than you ever will." Theta roared. Tyvek fired. Theta moved faster. The shot missed, and Tyvek went flying across the room. Then silence. No more BLASTERS. No more shouts, just the heavy breathing of the creature and the man beside him. Later, the council voted. Lucas wasn't punished. Theta wasn't caged. Together, they were offered something else, a chance to leave to live. Free, not as man and beast, but as family, as they stepped onto the ship that would take them to the far stars. Lucas looked back once, then turned to Theta. "You ready, kid?" Theta grunted, smiled. "Let's go home." The doors closed, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again, because what they had created was more than a monster. It was a bond, a father and his son, born not of blood, but of kindness. And that was stronger than any weapon ever made. End of